Love, blessings, peace, and prosperity. Divine, beautiful soul, you are tuned into the Cafecito and Tarot podcast. It's me, Nicole P., your spiritual barista, serving you up wisdom, guidance, and inspiration from the cards. My love, I'm recording this episode on Sunday, July 13th. I'm sipping on some tecito. It's a immunity booster blend or something, immunity boosting blend. I think that's what it's called. And I got some brew for you, some taro brew, that is. And if you have been part of the brew crew for some time, you know that I've been on and off, like not super consistent this last year, actually almost a year and a half. It really like, well, first of all, let me say this. I am really starting to this time feeling like I'm rising from the ashes, finally, and a little bit more adjusted, acclimated, from going through like the most intense death cycle that I think I've been on in my adult life. I've had some pretty, heartbreaking and hard things, but this was like the most intense and that really started. It's like you know, this really started like gosh, the end of the summer in 2023. And then it's just like what kind of sparked it, my aunt's tragic death, the end of 2023, and then coming into 2024 with being displaced twice while my mom was near death. And, twice almost facing, homelessness. And Spirit pushed off the ledge. It's like the fool card. It's like you have the fool card and you're there and you see the fool. Sometimes you're like, I'm gonna take a leap of faith and it's exhilarating and it's wonderful and oh my gosh, do you ever have those fresh starts that feel like that? And sometimes it's like I don't wanna and spirit like pushes you off and like whether you want to or not, this is how it's gonna go. And you feel like you're falling and it's absolutely horrible and the spirit catches you and that like sums it up for the last like year and a half. And 2025 has been the space where I've just been like, what the heck just happened? I've slept a lot. I feel like I'm just starting to wake up, and I keep on every like little moment in between. Trying to like come back to my practice. Like I still haven't set up my business license back, and I'm going to do it on the new moon in Leo, but like, oh, I got to get back to my practice. I got to get back to being consistent on not only socials but my podcast. And I go to to do it, and I just literally have not had the energy. And it only is recently in the last like week that all of a sudden it sparked, and all of a sudden I had like a remembrance of like my path and my passion. And one of the big ahas, and then I'll talk to you about the brew, but I just want to share with you one of the big ahas for me was that really realizing the time that it takes to fully be able to come back to center of self, to recuperate from really hard shit, and really like traumatic shit, and what was really, I was always like able to like go through stuff in my life and bounce back really quick and push through things and then be like, aha, I see the silver lining. And this time it didn't happen like that. Like literally, physically, I slept so much. The only time I remember sleeping so much is when I first left my ex at the end of 2020. I slept a lot. This was like a different kind of thing. I can't even explain it. And, I think I'm going to just say this. Whatever you're going through, if you go through some really big stuff, remember to allow yourself the space and grace. I always say it to other people, and I was like, allow the space and the grace. Give yourself the space and the grace. But I wasn't taking my own medicine, right? Because I'm pushing and shooting on myself, and then, shooting and trying to push because I had FOMO, right? Then I had to remember that it doesn't matter when I come back because I'm divinely guided and protected. And the ways in which things will unfold as long as I am moving in alignment with the center of my truth, right? So I'm back slowly coming into this, and I will be at some point coming back to the dailies, tarot brews. Right now, I'm going to stay at the weekly. I think I said that. That was my intention. The last episode I made for June tarot scopes, or June tarot message. but it didn't happen. Like June just kicked my butt still. And like the beginning of summer was like still okay, but I'm telling you, it's fascinating. It really, really took a long time for me to just really um yeah, just root, I guess, release and surrender. I had so much anger and just the trauma and just still like nerves and very interesting too. Like a lot of like the sacral energy center chakra area, and I had a lot more belly fat in that area because of that survival. Fascinating, interesting. Anyways, thanks for pressing play and for tuning in. And I just wanted to share that because maybe you listening currently right now going through something in your life that's shaking you up. I mean, I think we're all going through something in our life that's shaking up. I mean, let's just say that right now. Let me just say that right now, right? As we are bearing witness and also on the many folks on the front line of the like absolutely maddening, disgusting. I mean, the it's not even words of the atrocities inflicted by, racist, phobic, transferring, patriarchal, settler colonial capitalism, right? And it's doing what it was always going to be doing, right? And so as we are witnessing and also participating in, it's important to always have grace and give yourself grace and space because we are going through our personal lives of things that are on our personal journeys as well as the collective and how it's all weaving in to the larger tapestry of our existence and our journey. And um, so I hope that you're finding ways um, in these tower moments, in these death cycles, to have the space and the grace to find ways to honor your dreams, your connection to community, your medicine within, and remembering there's so many forms of resistance, and we all have a part to play in the resistance, in the revolutions that are happening. And one of the ways that I really feel, and I have prior to this is that remembering, reconnecting, rerouting with our medicine, with our spirituality, with our practices is a superpower, is a form of resistance, it's a form of healing, and it's a way that we will be able to be of service in our communities um, now and in the future. And so let's talk about the brew. Let me get into that with the brew. So thanks for hearing that, what I just said, my words. And sometimes I find it, finding the ways in which one carries forth and honoring, you know, what one desires to manifest and bring forth into existence in the personal and also in the collective. You know, continuing to be of service of our visions in the context of what is happening, the atrocities that are happening, the violation of human rights, the continuation of genocides that are occurring. Um, and it's one way also too that is a form of resistance, right? If your dream is to be writing books, if your dream is to create a tarot deck or an oracle deck, if your dream is to open your own business, if your dream is to climb the corporate ladder, if your dream is to find a way to live much more simplified so you can cut your hours down at work and you can be in the presence of your babies, your dogs or your cats or however it may be, to continue forth with our visions and our dreams is a act of resistance and I think tarot can really support us to continue to reflect, to bring awareness and root into our personal agency. And so, with that, here are the cards I pulled for this week, and I'm going to read just a little bit because I wrote a mini blog post. I'm really being very intentional to get that spark of creativity back. And I think there's no way around it but then to start to do. And so I pulled four cards and I pulled from the Goddess Tarot deck. I think that's what it's called. It was a deck that was gifted to me actually from my ex work when we moved out here to the Midwest. So I have pulled the Nine of Swords, the Ten of Cups reversed, the Five of Cups, ooh, the Five of Cups, and the Sun card. And I think the Five of Cups is an overarching continuous theme that we're seeing collectively. And of course with so many other cards. And here's what I'm really feeling from this these cards. There are several things that I'm feeling. I'm going to read to you what I wrote, and then I want to expand upon it just a little bit, okay? So the main message, one of the main messages that I felt from this was about opening to new chapters in a opening to new chapters as a conscious choice. Like we consciously choose, no matter how broken our hearts are, no matter what we've gone through, no matter how exhausted, being able to realize that one consciously chooses um, to being open to surrender what is in existence, what is awaiting for us, what is available for us, and that opening to new chapters when our hearts are torn apart, when we feel exhausted. um, it takes devotion, it takes discipline. And I think also this way of believing that the sun is shining even though we cannot see it shine beyond the clouds takes discipline and devotion. And it's not to gaslight or dismiss the clouds, the rain, and the storms. It's in spite of that, saying, I know that the sun is shining above and beyond all of this. And it takes consciously choosing to hold that belief, to hold the faith. Being aware of stories that we hold on to. Because with this nine of wands, this energy is um, one of that where we feel like we've been fighting and battling and just really exhausted, and there's so many fires and so many fires to put out. And it's when you pause and say, oh my gosh, I've come this far, I'm not turning back. But it's an invitation to pause and then to say, wait a minute, there are all these fires that are burning, but what truly are the fires, of these fires that are burning, what are mine to put out? What are mine to put out? Sometimes there's so many fires burning, and we can keep going and going and going, and maybe it's trauma response. And now remember, I'm not a licensed mental therapist or professional counselor or anything like that. So please, um, take it as my reflection of life, as someone who is kind of like an anti mini elder. I'm gonna be 53 coming up, so I got some years behind me. So it's more of that reflection. But so here's the thing, right? Like sometimes it's like a trauma response, understandably so, because when you have to go and have to go and have to go, and maybe we're so used to getting taken care of other people and always like going and fighting and fighting and fighting that it can get really easy to keep on autopilot and keep going, going, going. And we have to remember that we don't always have to have like the superwoman, superman, super person, superhero cape on, right? So it's an invitation. The Nine of Wands is like, pause for a second. Are all these fires meant for you to put out? Do all these fires have your name on them? So remember, my love, not all fires that burn are yours to put out. What fires are you holding on to that can be released? And you can say, oh my gosh, my heart hurts. I really want to help put that fire out. But I got these other fires that do have my name on them, right? That I need to tend to. Maybe I don't have to put it out, but I need to tend to it. And so if you're choosing, and I've had to ask myself this all the time, choosing, right, to hold on to fires that are not yours to put out. Why? No shade, no shame, but why? Asking ourselves the question why is beautiful. It just opens the door to say, okay, why am I doing this? And maybe Maybe the why, when you really ask why, you dig deep and you ask why, maybe there is an answer that makes sense, that really makes sense. You're like, aha, that's why I'm doing it. Well, then carry on. But sometimes when we reflect and we say the why, and then we're like, oh, damn, oh, no. Yeah, I was spreading myself too thin. I, I don't have energies for these other fires. I only have energy for what is right in front of me, right? Sometimes that's what the why, or that's what comes up after we ask the why. So that nine of wands is why. All that's around you, all that you are assisting with, the battles that you may be part of, just asking why. And also giving yourself the permission to sit out, tapping out to tap back in, right? Realizing that you really, it's okay to say, I don't have the capacity to do all of this. I don't have the capacity to tend to all these fires. I don't have the capacity. And being like, I can never get it all done and being okay with that. Because what happens is sometimes when we're so fixated and all the fires got to pull out, oh my God, I got to pull this out, pull this out, pull this out. We have that 10 of cups reversed. So we're pouring out all of our joy. It's like all like our joy, our love, our feel goodness is dissipating. We're like pouring it all out to like take care of other people's fires and tending to other people's fires. And I am not saying in no way, shape, or form in the larger collective that we, at times, there's going to be fires to put out that we got to come together at community. I am by no means saying that. I'm talking about this personal, like very, very, very micro personal, right? Parts of our lives. That sometimes we don't pause enough to say, wait a minute, what is mine to tend to? And we just pour everything we got into other people's, helping other people's with their fires. And what we need to do is take some time to make sure our fires have been tended to. You know, it's similar to that in the airplane. You put your mask on before you put on anybody else's mask. Similar to that, right? And you might say, well, then what does the Five of Cups have to do with all of this? What is the Five of Cups? Is that what happens after time when we're so used to existing in this way of going and going and going, we can look back and our hearts hurt, right? Because it's like, oh, I've poured so much and given so much into other fires. I don't even have the energy to see what is here for me. I don't have energy to see even what could be possibly on the horizon. It's a call once again to make sure that you fill your cup. It's a call once again to take time to root into belief that the sun is shining beyond the clouds, beyond the storm. It's a call to tend to your fire. And you can hope and you can pray and you can offer love to the other fires that are burning. But if you are at capacity, my love, you are at capacity. And I think what happens sometimes too with this Five of Cups energy, it's that can be very easy to distract ourselves from our grief, from our sorrow, by spreading ourselves too thin, by going to tend other people's fires. And spreading ourselves too thin on a continuous basis is something that gets learned, right? Especially in the context of settler colonial capitalism, especially in the context of, gosh, having the space of being able to sit with the grief, with the sorrow. And sometimes that grief and the sorrow is so, so intense, we don't want to. And so we keep ourselves busy, understandably so. And that's where having access to cultural ways of healing, of being, of therapy, different modalities to support the movement of that sorrow and that grief. There's another thing that tends to happen sometimes, is sometimes we have sorrow and grief of things that have not worked in the past, and to we avoid that and we abandon our dreams and move further away from the center of our truths by spreading ourselves too thin and really tending to other people's fires and not our own. So these cards in this week is a gentle nudge of how are you tending to fire in your life? How are you tending to your heart? How are you also tending to belief, to hope, to inspiration? None of it's through shame, none of it's a blame. It's just to check in to say, wait a minute, these cards, what do they mean in relationship to what I am going through personally, in relationship to what is happening contextually in the collective? So it's a tapestry. There's a lot happening. There's a lot going on, and pausing to reflect and to ask the questions and to feel into the heart, to your heart, and to also root into the energy of the sun. Because through it all, the sun is coming to say, I am here to love you, to nurture, to provide you warmth. Believe in me. That, my love, is the brew that I have for you for this week. I thank you so much for tuning in. Oh my gosh, that was fun. Oh my God, I'm so excited to come back and to have this energy. Oh, thank you so much for tuning in. I feel really, really good. I hope you do too. If you're vibing and flowing with this work, um, leave a review if you haven't done so already. That'd be really, really great. To the listening platform of your choice. And I'm going to be back. I'm going to keep myself as weekly for now, until I can just really be sure to commit to that daily tarot brew. And I'm excited, but it's coming soon. I can feel it. All right, my love. I'm out. Peace, love, everything in between. Take care for yourself, and peace out. Bye.